Man, I love my quarterback. I love my quarterback because he is not afraid to speak his mind, do his own thing, and clap back at the media when they call him out. And that's exactly what Lamar Jackson did here. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, like I discussed yesterday, Lamar Jackson's name was in the media this week. Obviously, this was the first week of voluntary OTAs. Several Ravens players weren't there, but there were a lot of Ravens players that were. One of the players that was not there was Lamar Jackson. Coach Harbaugh was asked about it, and Harbaugh said, hey, Lamar can speak for himself. Mark Andrews was also asked about it, and he said he's talked to Lamar. He knows Lamar's working hard, and he believes Lamar will be back at some point for these OTAs. So the Ravens didn't make it a big deal. However, the media saw that, and they started spanning out and talking about all sorts of things. The main thing they were discussing was Lamar Jackson missing OTAs because he's holding out because he doesn't have a contract. But there were so many things being talked about. Maybe it's because of the contract. Maybe there's some sort of friction between Lamar Jackson and the Ravens organization. A bunch of different speculations were coming out. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's the media's job to speculate. It's the media's job to create headlines. It's the media's job to spur on controversy. So I'm not surprised to see them talking like this and trying to create a lot of something out of something that's not really there. There's little to nothing. I'm not going to pretend like there's nothing there, but I would really say there's little to nothing. And they're trying to blow it up as if it's some major thing when the Ravens organization didn't make it a major thing. And Lamar already had a message talking about, I can't wait to get back there soon. So it doesn't seem like there's any friction between Lamar and the Ravens organization. You know, he just is not there right now. And of course, some of the players already believe Lamar will be back there at some point for OTAs. So it's not that big of a deal. But the media is going to do what the media does. Well, Lamar Jackson finally decided to clap back after hearing them bring up his name this week. One, Chris Sims was doing his show with Mike Florio, and they got on the topic of Lamar Jackson not being at OTAs. And if you guys do remember, when Lamar Jackson was discussing it at some point, I don't remember when, it was sometime last year, I believe, or maybe the year before, but Lamar Jackson did say that he wanted to be the Tom Brady of his era. He wanted to win multiple Super Bowls for the Ravens, you know, and that's what's motivated him to continue to work hard and improve and get better and try to compete for a championship. Well, Chris Sims on his show brought up that quote and decided to talk about Lamar missing OTAs and bring that in relations to the quote. So I have it here. Chris Sims on Lamar Jackson, who once said he wants to be the Tom Brady of his era. Chris's response: Brady wouldn't be missing OTA in year 4 of his career. Brady didn't miss an OTA until he had played in 4 Super Bowls. So he was basically criticizing Lamar for missing OTAs and saying, if you want to be like Brady, you got to be at every voluntary OTA. Well, that got back to Lamar Jackson, and he directly clapped back and replied. Here is his reply. Lamar wants to be Lamar, Chris. This part of OTAs is voluntary, my guy. I will be there, just not on your watch. It's probably other quarterbacks not attending voluntary OTAs either, but since it's Lamar, it's a huge deal. Find something else to talk about. That's what I'm talking about, Lamar. You clap back at the media. I don't blame Lamar for feeling this way. I don't blame Lamar for responding this way. At the end of the day, they always try to find a way to bring Lamar Jackson's name into something. And I'm sure Lamar has seen it. Let's be real. These athletes, they constantly see when their names are being brought up. Maybe they don't watch the show, but either them or somebody in their inner circle is going to get that information back to them. So I'm sure Lamar is hearing all the talks about people discussing why doesn't he have a contract signed, why doesn't he have an extension with the Ravens, why are they not discussing it? He's probably heard all these contract talks, several guys telling Lamar to take the money and do all this other stuff. I'm sure he's heard the media criticize him for, you know, not being here at OTAs, obviously, or just not taking a contract or not getting this done or potentially holding out. He's probably heard all of it. And at some point, you get tired of it. But as an athlete, you got to understand, and I'm sure Lamar understands, and all athletes understand, the media's job is to be entertaining. The media's job is to create headlines. The media's job is to spur controversy. That is what they do. So I don't blame Chris Sims for his response. And speaking of that, he actually had a reply to Lamar's response here, and it was below it right here. Chris Sims' reply was, "That's all good, my guy. You be you. I am rooting for you. Yes, I would like to see you at OTAs, but you got to do what's best for you. Not singling you out, we have discussed all quarterbacks who have not attended OTAs. You are Lamar freaking Jackson. Of course we're going to talk about you. And at the end of the day, he is right. Lamar Jackson is Lamar freaking Jackson. He's one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. He won a unanimous MVP. He's known throughout the league. He's a bona fide superstar, and he's one of the most polarizing topics in football right now, especially because for a guy that's an MVP and a superstar, he does not have a contract. That is crazy. If Josh Allen didn't have a contract, he probably would be discussed as well. But Lamar Jackson with that MVP and how polarizing he has been, specifically because of his style of play, which we have still continue to talk about. He's entering year 5 now, and we continue to talk about his style of play. It gets tired, it gets old, but he's been one of the most polarizing players in the league, so they are going to find a way to talk about him. And the media talks about Lamar at least once a week, so it's not surprising. I don't blame Lamar for feeling how he felt and responding the way he did. I also don't blame Chris Sims for, creating a headline and doing what he's supposed to do. That's just his job at the end of the day. I don't think he's specifically singling out Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't completely say that, but him bringing up Lamar Jackson's name, that's just what all the media does. It's not like he's been the only one to talk about Lamar. Everyone does this. He's one of those polarizing players in the league, so obviously they're going to talk about him, and it is what it is at the end of the day. You just have to, I'm sure Lamar understands this, and all these athletes understand it. The media just does this to spur on controversies, to be entertaining, to create headlines. And at the end of the day, it's just what they do. That's their job. So, it's part of what you got to deal with if you're an athlete. They're obviously going to talk about you. They're obviously going to put out their opinions. They're obviously going to speculate. They're obviously going to criticize. They're obviously going to try and spur up some sort of controversy when it's a situation that's not entirely clear. And Lamar's contract situation isn't exactly clear. We don't know if there's been any talks recently. We have no clue what's going on with that contract talks. We have no clue. We have no clue at all. People are speculating that he may hold out. And, with him not attending voluntary OTAs, they look at it and say, this might be something we have to look into. So the media is doing what the media does. Now, again, like I said, there doesn't seem to be any friction between Lamar and the front office or Lamar and the Ravens organization as a whole. It doesn't seem to be any problems there. They love Lamar. They definitely want him back. Lamar has shown and has spoken on several occasions that he loves this team. He loves this organization. He wants to win a championship here, and he cannot wait to get back there and work with his guys and do whatever he can to win a championship. In terms of him not being there, I don't know. I don't know what his reason for not being there. It's voluntary, so you're not required to be there. But we have heard that the guy is working out with a personal quarterback coach. So maybe he's still working out with that guy and has chosen to continue to work out. I mean, he's probably not even in Baltimore right now. He's probably still in Florida or somewhere else. But he's working with that quarterback's coach. And that's probably his main reason why he's not there. At some point, he did say in his tweet he will be there at some point. So I expect Lamar to probably be at OTAs at some point. It's not really a big deal. The Ravens didn't make it a big deal. Lamar initially didn't make it a big deal. There didn't seem to be any problems. The media is just doing their job to try and push some sort of narrative or spur up controversy, create some sort of headline and try to make something that's really not big and try to overblow it. That's what the media does, They take nothing and create it and turn it into something. That's just what they got to do. Creating something out of nothing is what the media does best, and athletes don't like it, but it's what they do. It's unfortunate, but hey, at the end of the day, they got to create headlines. Not to mention, we're in the offseason. There's nothing to talk about. Training camp has not started yet. We are in May. We still got a whole, 2 months? Yeah, because you got to go the whole of June and then you got about 2 months before training camp will officially start. So they got to create these headlines one way or another. And because Lamar still does not have a contract, he's going to be one of their main talking points. It's just how it is. He's always been a main talking point in terms of the offseason because he's Lamar Jackson, man. He's one of the most polarizing guys. They'll either talk about his play style or talk about his contract. That's just how it is. And since this is the offseason where he's entering his 5th year and he does not have a contract, obviously they're going to be talking about it. And any bit of information they can get, they will speculate and overblow it until until either Lamar gets a new contract or something comes out to express why he doesn't have a contract. If it was clear as to what the point is, even though the organization has said it's all up to Lamar, if we knew his clear intentions as to why, I'm sure the media would they wouldn't tone it down, but they would just focus and zone in on his specific reason. But the media is always going to talk about Lamar. Lamar is going to continue to be Lamar. He's going to do his own thing. and he's not going to worry about the media trying to create these headlines. However, if you do call him out of his name, he is willing to respond. And Lamar has been very vocal over this offseason, especially on Twitter. So he's ready to clap back at anybody that's talking about him, and he's not afraid. That's why I love my quarterback, man. LJ is not afraid. He's going to continue to be him. He's going to continue to do his thing, and he's going to continue to clap back at anybody in the media that wants to come at him. He's not afraid. Love you, Lamar. With that being said, that is all I got for this. We'll see where this goes. I'm sure the media is going to discuss his response at this point, and we'll see if this spirals into something that they'll continue to discuss. They probably will tone it down once Lamar shows up at OTAs, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, with that being said, that is all I've got for this video, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!